How's everybody doing? My name is Anthony Brian Logan, and today I'll bring you a story about the rebel.media and their website. Now, this story is kind of predictable, in my humble opinion. I thought this would happen after what happened to the Daily Stormer, not necessarily to this website in particular, the rebel.media website, but just to conservative websites in general. If you lean conservative, I figured this may happen to other websites aside from the Daily Stormer. Now, in that video I made, many of you kind of understood my point. You understood that if you allow one person, I think her name was Amy Siskin, to send out a tweet talking about how bad the Daily Stormer was and GoDaddy should remove it, this, that, and the third, and she was able to get it away so quickly, like within 2 hours, the GoDaddy Twitter responded to her tweet to the Daily Stormer and were like, look, they have 24 hours to vacate, and that's pretty much what it's going to be. Then after that, you had Google did the same thing. They removed their domain services away from the Daily Stormer. So that happened. People were cheering it on, talking about Daily Stormer is racist. They don't represent me. They're too far right, this, that, and the third. But I said, it's like, look, you can't look at it like that, because just because you think that they're too far and you're a different kind of right, you're a good kind of right. Just because you think that does not mean others feel the same way. That person, Amy Siskin, probably feels the same way about you and your right-wing website. If you're InfoWars, if you are Latimer Crowder, maybe even you, if you're watching, you have a website, maybe even a guy like me. They put all of us in the same category, but Daily Stormer is just so far out there as the easy target. However, once that first apple drops, it's easy to cut down the whole tree, if that makes any sense. A precedent was set, and now we have the follow through of it, and that is the rebel.media's website being removed from a domain registrar. Now, I don't really know who had it. They were being kind of vague in the article, which I linked to in the box below. Some technology company, I'm using quotes here, I don't know who that was, but whoever it was denied the rebel.media services to their own domain. Now, some were saying it's easy to fix that problem because you're able to get your own server, but that is not really how domains work. Domain, you got to buy that from a private company called ICANN, essentially, and you got to get it through a registrar. So basically, registrars are companies that link up with ICANN, if I'm not mistaken. If I'm wrong, let me know in the box below, but you're able to buy your domain name that way. It's the same thing as buying a phone number. You can't just create your own phone number out of the clear blue sky. You got to buy it from a phone provider of some sort, whether it be Skype, whether it be AT&T, Verizon, whoever. You got to buy it from somewhere. You cannot create your own phone number. Now, you can have your own email address, of course, because you can have your own server in your crib, just like Hillary Clinton did. Remember that? The whole private email server, talking about, well, she didn't know it was illegal, this, that, and the third. That whole thing where she wiped it. Yeah, you can have that in your house. You can have your hosting services in your own house on a server, but your domain name and your phone number, you can't do that. You got to buy it from essentially a private company. So that's the whole situation here, and that's the reason why they were offline for a while, and that is the reason why Daily Stormer is pretty much gone. I don't even know if they're still up or what, but they were gone for a long time, if they're not gone permanently, because they're not able to get domain names online. Now, the precedent has been set, so what's next? This is how these things work. I'm always right about this. I don't want to toot my own horn and be, too braggadocious or too arrogant, but this is just how it works. You see one thing happen and you're able to see how the next chain of events are going to unfold. Follow an argument to its logical conclusion. What's going to be next? When you have gay marriage becoming a law of the land, what's going to be next? You're going to have transgender issues. You're going to have little boys dressing up as little girls, dancing in front of men, entertaining them, and it's not really a big deal. You're going to have transgender reveals in the kindergarten classroom. You're going to have all that kind of stuff happen. It's not really hard to see. It's easy to see what's going to happen once you just understand how things work. You start in one place and then you just ease way on down the line. That is why I'm against anybody's free speech being stifled. As long as you don't get into violence, I'm cool whatever you do. I don't care if you Black Lives Matter, KKK, the far left, the far right. I don't care if you gay, straight, Satanist or whatever. I support your right to say whatever you want to say. Now, when you start to try to do policy, when you say that I got to do something, then now we're doing something different. See, you're infringing upon my rights. I'm not infringing upon yours. If I say you can't tell me what to do, as long as we're both following the law of the land, there could be nothing else that is saying, well, I got to acquiesce to you. No, I'm going to follow the laws of the land and that's it. That's pretty much what it's going to be. And this whole situation, I'm kind of going deep here, but it makes a lot of sense when you think about it, because you got to look at it how it starts and then how it's going to conclude. What's going to be the conclusion? You see, same thing going on with the statues. And I said it right when it happened. It's like, okay, once you're going to remove the so-called Confederate, KKK, whatever statues, Robert E. Lee, Jefferson Davis, et cetera, what's going to be next? If you use the argument about them being treasonous, that's fine. You can hang your head on that. But others will say they need to be removed because of the whole situation with the racism, with the slavery, whatever. Now, if you're going to say that, what about our Stars and Stripes back here? That was on top of slave ships for almost 100 years. That was on plantation sites for 100 years. That was a big symbol of America during slavery for a long time, much longer than the Confederacy. The Confederacy was only around for 4 years of slavery. However, the big, beautiful Stars and Stripes behind me was around for about 87 years of slavery. And before that, it was Great Britain and the Union Jack. So what's next? And we see that Jefferson Memorial is going to be altered with a mention of slavery. Is it going to be the end? Of course not. They're going to vandalize more. It's like they burned up a bust of Abraham Lincoln in Chicago. They're going to do the same thing with Jefferson Memorial, the Washington Monument, maybe even Mount Rushmore, Stone Mountain in Georgia, et cetera, et cetera. I hope that whoever they is, that's a whole different story right there. So I'm going to digress. Whoever they are, hope they don't try to do anything to Mount Rushmore, Stone Mountain, or any kind of really important site like that, because it's going to be a problem. It's going to create more civil unrest. This whole thing with Charlottesville, that might have been the test. There might have been a psyop, or it could have been a test. Who knows? Once you start to go bigger than that on a wider scale, Mount Rushmore, it's going to be a problem. And hopefully nobody goes down that road, because the last thing we need right now in our nation is more problems. We're trying to get beyond what Barack Obama allowed to happen under his administration. You're talking about Ferguson, Missouri, hands up, don't shoot, this, that, and the third. We're trying to get beyond that. We don't need more issues like this. And like I said, I know I'm kind of getting into the weeds. I know it's kind of deep talking about the website, but it matters. The whole thing about the Rebel, as I close here, someone say it's a good thing that the website is being taken off line, because Ezra, he's a snake. He's kind of funny the way he does business. He's not trustworthy. He's kind of unscrupulous or whatever. I mean, that's kind of like just a personal opinion. You can't look at it like that, though. You got to look at the greater picture. Don't look at it in the micro sense. Zoom out and see what's really going on with the whole situation. Like I said, Daily Stormer, you think that is too far right. You think that is too far and ridiculous, not really a serious website. Once they get that off air, you're thinking it's a good thing, because you don't want that to be associated with the right. You want to be cleansed of it. You want to feel like you're above that. But those that did it think that you're the same way. They don't look at you any different. Even if you're black, white, Puerto Rican, Candy Stripe, it doesn't matter what race you are. Anybody that's not affiliated with them on the far left is an enemy. So you cannot support the removal of their website and then do the same thing with Rebel Media. You say, oh, it's good they got removed because they fired Faith Goldie for going to, Charlottesville, for being on a Daily Stormer, this, that, and the third. It was some stuff going on with Tommy Robinson's film crew. It was kind of funny. He was trying to pay hush money. He got recorded doing some unscrupulous stuff. He was, mismanaging the money. All those things, it doesn't even really matter, because at the end of the day, if they, like I said, whoever they is, get their way, that will not be the end. Daily Storm was first stone, Rebel Media second stone, InfoWars, Latimer Crowder, your website, my website. We already see what's going on with YouTube and the whole demonetization situation. Do you see where it's going? It's easy to see. And all it takes is a lot of times just one person. Like I said, Amy Siskin sent out a tweet, GoDaddy picked it up, and then pretty much right away they said, okay, we're going to remove the website. I wonder how Rebel Media got their situation. Was it somebody that found out who was hosting their domain and then complained to them, send them an email, and then within 24 hours or, almost immediately they said, okay, you got to get off? You see? How easy would it be for you to get your platform removed? With YouTube, all it took really was one guy, Eric Feinberg, a patent troll, trying to tell YouTube that he needs to implement his way of being able to remove harmful content from advertisers' selections. He posted a bunch of screenshots of ISIS videos with Coke ads in it. It could have been Photoshop. Who knows what it was? They could have just refreshed the page a million times before a Coke ad came on it. He did that to force YouTube to do something. So one guy is responsible for the whole demonetization kerfuffle. Now, of course, he had help from the media that amplified him, but it was just one guy. You cannot support these rogue individuals that do things to be subversive in their nature, to tilt everything towards the left. So that's pretty much all I got for it. What do you think? Do you think the situation with Ezra, with the Rebel, could have been avoided at all? I mean, I really don't know what company there was that took them offline. Do you think it's a big deal? Do you think it's not really a big deal? Because the website is up right now, as far as I know. So they didn't get totally removed, but it was an interruption to service. And I've seen some comments on the actual article about them, which I linked to in the box below. One guy was talking about he's on GoDaddy with his domains, and they sent him an email talking about his website because it has conservative in it. They were giving him some kind of troubles with it. I'm not sure if that's true or false, but maybe it is. If you're on the left and you don't like anybody that's conservative, maybe you're able just to write a letter and get them removed. People don't want the public backlash, the social media outcry that would happen if a left-wing person doesn't get their way. Am I thinking too deep? Am I thinking too shallow? Is there anything I missed? Whatever your comments are, let me know in the comments below. And that's all I got to say for this video. If you like what you heard, please comment, rate, share, and subscribe. Peace.